Welcome to the joint Lemoore City Council and Lemoore Redevelopment Successor Agency meeting located at 429 C Street. This is the February 20th meeting. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you. If you can stand for the invocation given by Ms. Nelson and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, we thank you for this privilege, Lord, to come together. We ask for your blessing over this meeting and your blessing upon the leaders, Father God, of Lemoore, and the community that's here, Lord, your blessing upon them. And I pray, Father God, that you would guide and you would lead, Lord, as you do with wisdom. And Lord God, we trust you and we pray for our nation this evening, Lord God, that you would bring protection over your people. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Councilmember Garza.
Present.
Councilmember Lyons.
Present.
Councilmember Orth.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Gornick.
Here.
And Mayor Matthews.
Here.
Thank you.
Agenda approval, additions and/or deletions?
There are none, Mayor.
Thank you. For our study session, item 1-1, utility billing software implementation update. Mr. Olson.
So good evening, Mayor and council members. Last council meeting, you asked us to bring back a study session on where we're at on the utility billing. There's been some errors and some calls made and some public come forward. So we've prepared. Hopefully this gets people a little bit better understanding the opportunity we're trying to correct. So we began the implementation kickoff of the new utility billing software in December of 22. Conversion and completion of the general ledger had to be completed prior to going live with utility billing. So the general ledger software went live July 1st, 2023. The implementation team from Lemoore consisted of 1 to 2 staffers. And we had to expedite the conversion timeline due to our old software becoming obsolete, no longer having support. Staff changes during this time. We did have a couple people leave the organization. We had to hire. So we kind of had to start over at some points on this with new staffers, but we're able to get through it and get the software implemented. Account transition for utility billing for customers occurred in October of 2023. So the new utility bills launched in November of 23. They had a new 7-digit account number. And the new bills also include a 12-month consumption history. You won't see 12-month consumption history now because it's new. It'll capture the data going forward. So eventually you'll be able to look at year over year and compare your bills. Each resident was assigned a customer ID number, and then customers gained access to the self-service portal, which we show on here. If you go to online bill pay, that online self-service is where you can go look at your current bill. Utility billing issues. So since going live, we've had some misapplied payments. So during the conversion, a crosswalk, which is the link between the old accounts to the new accounts, malfunctioned, causing some payments to be misapplied. So staff is working to audit the accounts, and the crosswalks have since been updated to reduce the misapplied payments. So we're still working through these. There are still some out there. Payments online. So since the conversion, the payment process portal has not been able to link the customer accounts from the old system to the new system, resulting in some balances not being updated. We have already put in work orders to correct this problem, but we're looking at about a 6-week implementation from the software engineers. Yes, Mr. Gordon.
When you say some accounts have not been updated, how many is some?
So I think it's in here. I think it's about 900 accounts we think are affected, which is about 11%. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you should come up. Jocelyn, if you could come to the microphone, please.
So it's all of the accounts are currently not reflecting the correct balances. We have to send a file to them daily to import those balances into the online payment portal. And because of the new customer ID, it's not able to accept the current format. So until we make the change, it won't accept any current new balances in there. It's stuck at the last file that was loaded was the day that we made the switch over to the new software. So until we make that change, it's going to reflect November information.
But when you said we send them, who's
We
that?
send Paymentus. Because Paymentus is our online payment portal. They're a third-party provider.
Okay.
We have to provide them the account details that reflect in there.
So it was incumbent upon us to provide the third-party provider.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're not able to accept the new format from the new software. So until we get them to finish their conversion, that file will not feed.
So how about the people that we bought our software from? Where are they in this process assisting us?
It's not part of them. Tyler is a separate entity. That's just the software to generate our billing, but they are not our online payment portal.
I understand that, but my understanding was that Tyler gave us a suite of software to allow us greater efficiencies in a number of areas. Bill paying was one of them.
We will get there. We have a current contract with Paymentus that does not end until June of 2025. So it would cost us a significant amount of money to term that contract early.
Well, I'm not recommending that. I'm just trying to find out where there's help for you to get the two connected in. Is Tyler is involved in this process at all?
They're not in the implementation with Paymentus. No, they're not.
Weren't they involved in the payment process for us? I mean, with our accounting software?
I'm not sure what your question is
Tyler,
there exactly.
The software system that we purchased, it was my understanding that they handled our accounting and our total billing process. Our
For
total
utility billing, yes.
Yes.
But the payments are a separate function of that.
And Tyler, did we know that when we purchased it?
We didn't know the extent of the contract that we wouldn't be able to get out of the Paymentus contract without a significant cost to it. So we will, yes, go to Tyler Payments when we can term the contract with Paymentus.
Okay.
So in June of 25, we will make the switch to Tyler Payments and it will all be one single platform.
Okay. That had to make your job very frustrating.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But for clarification though, not every account is having misapplied payments. That's at about 900. Every account though will not show your new balance online. So you have to go off your paper statement.
Well, I know.
So I just wanted to make sure
with the users is it's one thing to not have it on the account. It's another thing to not be able to bring up the history.
Correct.
So then I got to go back and get my history of my paper, but I'm not using my paper anymore. I got a new bill pay account, but when they do it with my paper, I got to go find my paper.
Right. And you can use the customer self-service portal. If you want to use a total online function, you can log into there to view your statement electronically and then just go over until we make that switch. You'll have to click on the online bill pay button to make your payment.
So how do we direct? Do we have any instructions for our citizens when they?
Yes, it's coming up.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Don't go far, Jocelyn.
Thank you. Thank you.
So notice have been posted on the website, and we'll get to that in a slide or two. And a work order has been established to correct the system link. We're expected to be resolved in about 8 weeks, and all customers need their old account numbers to access Paymentus online. So there's 2 extra digits that you'll need from your old account to be able to make a Paymentus online payment. And here's kind of the notices that were sent out, but you'll see the one in red there when you go in to sign or pay your bills. Says please be advised account balances are not updating currently as we have migrated to the new software. For the time being, you will need to enter the amount of payment from your mailed statements and your old 11-digit account number, and we apologize for the inconvenience. So a majority of people saw that, utilize it. The ones that didn't utilize that or see that warning is where we're seeing some of the issues, but not all of the issues. So that's still up on our account today. Like I said, we're continuing to work through this and try to get the glitches out of the system.
is there 9 digits or 11?
There's,
Seven.
Counting it says 9 and then it says 11 in the
Yeah, but I look over.
the old bill has,
9.
In the new.
The new one
number.
has 7. But the red match just says 11.
shoot, I left my paper at them.
Just asking. I'm not trying to be difficult.
no.
I'm just-
Yeah, Jocelyn. It is 9.
Whether you're looking at the dashes included in the number or not, the physical, you have to include the dashes when you enter it, so it's 11 in paymentus for the entire account digit. Or if you're looking at just literally the numbers, it's 9.
9 digits, 2 dashes makes 11.
Yeah, so
Okay,
different softwares.
that's Common Core math. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go for it with
11
that,
digits, including dashes. So
including dashes. That's a new one.
You want to go to the next slide? Okay, so most of the issues have been late fees on credit balance accounts or zero balance accounts. So an unknown processing issue has resulted in some credit accounts receiving a late fee. Staff is proactively reviewing all the accounts with credit balances, and there's approximately 900 of those accounts. We've been removing any late fees that have been applied incorrectly. Staff will also be opening a ticket once the review is complete to fix the processing issue. Same thing with payment plans. So as you know, during COVID and stuff, some people got behind and the city offered first time and second time payment plans to avoid water shutoffs. Since the migration, some of the payments on accounts with payment plans have received erroneous late fees applied. So we're going back and crediting those and making the adjustments, but it's a manual process. So 3 tickets are currently open with Munis to review the application of the payment plan. So that is with our new provider. So they're working on that with Tyler Tech.
the citizen who came at our last meeting would have the issue.
Yes.
That we resolved. Her.
Yes. She's been resolved. She was taken care of. We got her finally taken care of the Monday following that meeting by the time we got back and forth. So like I said, we're currently reviewing all payment plans and proactively fixing these accounts as well. I have went ahead and authorized overtime in utility billing to assist in auditing the backlog, because the issue we have is with the amount of phone calls that come in, we're staffed at appropriate levels. Once this implementation's fully in, we have enough staff. But right now with the glitches and having to go back and try to field those calls and go back and correct accounts, we're getting the backlogs getting further delayed. So we went ahead and authorized some overtime. We also have some staff that has some background in utility building and other departments that are going through, and also in addition to their regular duties, helping to assist in getting this backlog taken care of. If citizens have concerns, the best way to communicate with staff is via email at finance@lemoore.com. This way there's a record of it, not, hey, I called, left a message. Although we are checking the phone lines daily, there's just a lot of call volume coming through that office. And then we appreciate
a 4-day work week, so
Uh-huh.
it's only 4 days.
it's actually more than we appreciate your patience as we work through this transition. Any questions? That's a lot.
How many, do we know how many people we may or may not have shut off due to the glitches?
None.
Okay, and are we not going to do that, or are we gonna hold off on shutting people off?
We are
or-
holding off on.
I don't wanna announce
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Yes, I
no.
can
So
say
like
it,
if
but-
you're just flat not making payments, you can still be shut off.
That's
But
different.
if there's a question on your bill, no, we will not be shutting
Like,
those off until we resolve the issues.
if someone makes
Staff direction, utility billing is to err on the side of the resident.
so if someone makes $100 payment and their payment was supposed to be 120,
We're not going to shut you off.
no
for
one's
that.
gonna shut you off, but if they make a 0 payment, then that's a whole different argument. Okay. Hang on, board with that.
Correct. And we'll be able to see the history and who's been paying, who hasn't been
100%.
paying, and things like that. But this isn't a free pass to not pay your bill.
No, I didn't want that.
I just
either,
don't,
but-
I want residents to realize that, so they can't say, well, you said you weren't going to shut people off.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
I heard it.
Yeah.
What about the people that pay from their online banking? So if you're saying there's a change in the account number, will they have to change that account number on their banking also, online banking? So send it directly from their bank.
I would
That's a good
imagine
question.
they would have to upgrade that,
It looks like
that
yes.
account number, yes.
So like I do it, so I would have to change the account number. Okay.
Any other questions from you guys?
I don't have a question. I'd like a request that we, at least every 2 months, every 3 months, have an update on where we're at with this
Okay.
installation of this
From that-
software.
Hopefully, if we go
That
2
and-
months, it'll be corrected by then, but maybe every other, we'll do every other council meeting until it's the problem's 100%
Just a study
corrected.
session, just
Okay.
kind of update on it.
Update on the 900. Hopefully that number goes from 900 to 0.
But also the total implementation. of the
Yeah.
software.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate any issues with the current turnover of staff that's happening? with
No,
the
we have
implementation of
brand
all
new,
this?
we're fully staffed. We've got 2 really energetic, quick learners that are really helping get through it, but we were down 2 bodies there for a little bit. So,
And also does, and this may not be the place to say it, but there's still some billing issues in our paper bills that have been brought to my attention and I experienced myself. Is that due to the software or is there something else going on?
I'd have to get details what you're talking about. That's pretty vague to answer. I'm not sure what you mean by. In your
Well,
paper bill.
my bill is usually a certain amount and it was significantly less.
And you're complaining?
Did you use
Well,
less water?
But
Yes, I'm complaining because
No, did you use
joking.
less water?
No.
Really? So your bill should be it's fixed from a standpoint of volumetric water use. That's the only thing that should ever change on your bill unless you had a missed can or requested an additional can pickup or things like that.
I've had people say that their bill's actually twice as much too.
well, that has happened with I don't know if that was on their paper bill. Yeah, that was
It was
on
on
the
their paper bill
Yeah.
where they used the same amount of water as the month before, but their bill was twice as much.
Hmm.
Or they used a little
Yeah,
bit less
if
water.
if any residents having that or you've had it, if you could please just let us, we'll dig into your account number. We know I can pull yours up tomorrow.
I
but
think some of
If anybody else has seen that, and
So
wants
should I
us to
email
audit
you
that,
or?
email,
We haven't
Somebody
made-
up here had that problem.
email finance and we'll
Okay.
definitely get back to you on that.
Now, if I paid my regular amount because I don't want to get a bigger bill next month, that you guys have all records of that, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, just making sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, thank you.
One other question.
I was just
It was brought to my attention that there was a potential fix for some of these utility billing issues with our software. Was that, did that not work with?
No, well, we've already paid for it and
Mhm.
we're implementing, but they have to write the programming and all the script to make it all work. So we've already implemented the fix. We're just waiting on the software people to get the fix integrated into our accounts. And that's what so we've already been working on the issue.
Tyler?
Just
We're waiting for Tyler to do it or
not on the payment one. Who's working on the conversion of the accounts? Paymentus. So, yeah, we've gone ahead and we're working through those issues. But it'll take them time to get all the patches applied. And then once they get them applied, we got to go through and test and then see, because like I said, this hasn't affected every account. It's kind of awkward how you can have identical accounts and some are working fine and some are glitching and not giving you accurate data. So that's kind of what everybody's trying to figure out.
Have we reached out to anybody that is also dealing with Tyler Tech to find out what they've done?
I haven't personally, no.
With other cities?
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, I've reached out and I've had no response.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Can you go to the
So for
mic?
the record, she did say she reached out. And what was the last part?
I've had no
She's had no responses. I can give you the name and number of somebody if you like.
That it for that one?
Oh, yeah. Is there any public comment for item 1-1?
Tom Reed, Fire Avenue, Lemoore. Just one question. When Tyler fully takes over in 25, will there be some system where the bill can be automatically paid direct from your checking account to the city without going through the bank? And would it pay the correct amount rather than having to go in yourself and changing the amount every month?
Yes, there's a module coming up that will allow for ACH transactions. So the bill will automatically go to your account. And once you sign up for it, it'll just pull the payment due, which was kind of a request from our military families in here that are out on cruise that don't always have access to billing. But there is an ACH module coming in the future. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment?
Susie Vanuelo, seat 92 Cedar. I'm just wondering, it sounds like we bought programs or a plan or software to implement. Did we know ahead of time that it wasn't all gonna work how it went? I mean, I'm a nurse and we went from good old paper charts to all electronic charts, and that was a big fun experience working for the largest healthcare provider here. But it sounds like, and I may not have heard right, that we bought all of this stuff without knowing that it would not work together. And then now we have so many residents. 900 in a city of 30,000 may not be a lot, but if your water gets turned off and you can't go in on Friday and Monday's a holiday, then that's an issue for, I think, a lot of people. So I'm just wondering how we got a system that didn't do what I think it was supposed to do.
Well,
Did we not vet it right, or did they not hold up to their end, I guess is my question.
so, well, my experience in talking with other people that have gone through these migrations is that there's hiccups and there's some growing pains. The one thing we didn't plan on is we thought we'd go live with payments with Tyler when we bought the software, but due to our contracts, we didn't want to pay the early termination on Paymentus. That's a big portion of what this is, but we recognize it in the test phase that it wasn't 100% accurate. So that's why we put these notices, and it's glitches going into a new system. I wish I had a better explanation for you, but typically on a migration this size, you're dealing with 20 to 30 implementation members on the side of the city. We've been doing this integration with like the same 3 to 6 people since we started. So we're doing the best we can. Trust me, if we didn't have to get another phone call for a misapplied fee or a late fee that somebody doesn't think they get, nobody would be happier with that than the people working in utility billing. I can promise you that. Because it's adding a ton of extra work to them that, quite frankly, they don't need right now, because we've got a lot of other work to do. So we're getting through it one day at a time and making changes, trying to get software patches to get us where we need to be. But like I said, it's going to be about 8 weeks and we should be through this, have it all buttoned up. It's getting better actually every week. So, just asking for patience, and we apologize for the inconvenience, but we're not shutting you off if there's a glitch in the payroll, and we're making sure you're being credited back if you had a fee misapplied.
Anything else from the public? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item 1-2, fleet presentation.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. So Matt is going to be coming up. Matthew Wilds, he is our superintendent for fleet. To kind of, I mentioned some of the new regulations coming up, but he's here to provide a little study session on some of the requirements coming up for our fleet department.
Hey, Matt, before you begin, I got one thing to say.
Yes.
It rarely happens, and I'm sorry to do this to the city, but I have a mandatory meeting or drill that I have to be a part of at the fire department. It's the first time it's happened in 6 years. So I have got to be there in 4 minutes. So I do apologize. I have to go. And it's legit. I promise. If I get done early, I'll come back. I promise.
Thanks, Stu.
Have a good night, sir.
I'll be going over the advanced clean fleets regulation, specifically the state and local government section of it. There are federal and high priority sections as well, but this is the section that pertains to us. The affected fleets, just the definition and the regulation is state, local government agency is a city, county, public utility, etc. Affected agencies are those that have jurisdiction in California and own, lease, or operate in California, 1 or more vehicles with a gross vehicle weight rating of 8,500 pounds or more. Also, in the regulation is an obligation to also hire compliant entities. The compliance requirements, starting this year, January 1, for city and local government, we have to purchase 50% of all vehicles purchased over the weight limit are to be zero emission vehicles or ZEVs. And starting January 1 of 27, 100% of vehicles purchased must be zero emission vehicles. There is an option to buy near zero emission vehicles as defined in the regulation, which are vehicles that have a small electric range, but also have internal combustion engines. So like a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid is what they call them, or a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle is considered a near ZEV. So that's our compliant requirements as a city government. Alternatively, fleets can choose to switch to the ZEV milestone options. It's just another option, another pathway to compliancy. We can switch. We have the option to switch to the ZEV milestone option until January 1st of 2030. This option allows us to phase in ZEV purchases between 2025 and 2042, depending on vehicle type and use. Starting January 1st, 2025, fleets must continuously meet or exceed the milestone percentage requirements, which are on the next slide. And this is just a basic, or this is their diagram from the regulation. There are 3 groups of vehicles. The city currently has 12 Group 2 vehicles and 15 Group 3 vehicles.
Say that again, 12?
We have 12 Group 2 vehicles and we have 15 Group 3 vehicles. We have no Group 1 vehicles as defined in the regulation.
So the Group 1 is 8,500?
No, all of these vehicles are 8,500 and up. They just classify Group 1 as box trucks, vans, 2-axle buses, yard trucks, and light and mail vehicles. We have work trucks, and the specialty vehicles would be classified as our Vectors and refuse trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Under the ZEV milestone option, our first requirement to buy a ZEV would be in 2027. We would have to replace 1 Group 2 vehicle with a ZEV or near ZEV. Using the milestone option is a permanent decision. And if we choose to use the state and local government requirements first, we have until January 30th or January 1st, 2030 to switch to this option. By switching to the milestone option, the city would have to forfeit the right to a useful vehicle or the useful life of a vehicle as described in the Health and Safety Code. That useful life is between 13 years and 18 years, depending on mileage. If the truck has over 800,000 miles, it's 13 years. If it's under 800,000 miles, it would be 18 years of service. And if we were to forfeit that, we would have to remove vehicles from our fleet. The useful life, another example is if we did purchase an internal combustion engine or ICE engine in 2035, we would have no choice but to replace it in 2040, even though it would have a much more useful life as the rules of the regulation state. Some exemptions to the rule, to this regulation. Emergency vehicles and some 2-engine vehicles are exempt. As far as emergency vehicles, like our fire trucks, are all exempt from the regulation, and our 2-engine Vector trucks are exempt from the regulation. There's also a daily uses exemption, and this would allow us to purchase internal combustion engines if we could prove that no ZEV on the market could do the work of our internal combustion engine. And the third option here is also a ZEV purchase exemption. The California Resource Board is currently working on a list of vehicles that have no replacement in the ZEV market. But they haven't released that list. They plan on releasing it January 1st of 2025.
So the list will be available a year after it starts?
And
That makes sense.
if a vehicle is on the list, you can still use this exemption. The list just isn't available on their website, but you can email in and request to see if a vehicle would be on that list. past January 1st of 25. If the vehicle is on that list, you need no paperwork to fill out. You can purchase that internal combustion engine off the list and it counts as a ZEV for compliance in the regulation. Any question?
Now, is this a state? I didn't see, is it state or federal or both?
This is from the California Air Resource Board.
Okay.
So it is a
Because the
state
feds,
program.
the feds just announced that they're gonna push back on the Biden administration has requested to ease some of these restrictions down to the local governments.
Yeah.
So that may help a little, but it'll be 2026 when they tell us all that.
The resource board hasn't put out anything that they are
Yeah.
floating the program
They're
down.
still talking. Is CNG vehicles, the Zen or whatever?
The CNG vehicles count as internal combustion engines. Anything with a tailpipe is considered an ICE engine. So the CNGs do not count towards ZEVs or near ZEVs unless they have an electric range.
So the 27 vehicles we have right now,
Mhm.
in groups 2 and 3,
Mhm.
Are any of them electric vehicles?
No,
Are any of those on the exempt list?
Unless that
no,
hasn't came out
the
yet?
27 vehicles that I stated, those are within the regulation. We have 2 vehicles that fall under the 2-engine exemption. We have a leaf machine and a 2-engine Vector.
And those aren't included in the
Those
ones?
aren't
Okay.
included, that's not included in the 27. And then none of our fire trucks are included in the 27 as well.
So how about so the replacement on these 27 vehicles?
Mhm.
What do you have coming up this next fiscal year or anything?
This next fiscal year, I don't believe there are any for our heavy duty fleet. In the budget for this fiscal year, there was 2 refuse trucks. I don't know where we're at on that process. I don't believe they've been built yet.
But we
They're still waiting.
purchased them, correct?
We have not paid. We are on.
They're
the waiting
ordered.
list.
We're on the waiting list, and when they come in, depending on if we go to RFP and stuff like that, if we're operating as the city, we'll go ahead and buy those trucks. If we're outsourced, or if we choose to go outsourcing by then the company that takes it over would buy those trucks because they're on waiting list too for trucks.
So, so let's just say for the heck of it, we had to purchase electric vehicles, replacing the fleet. Do we have the capacity to charge those?
That would be more of an infrastructure question, and we charge a couple electric vehicles, but they are small. I don't know what would it take to say charge a refuse vehicle. I'm not sure. I'd imagine we could probably sustain 1, 2, 3, but any more than that, there'd have to be significant infrastructure changes to the courtyard.
I'm thinking about those vehicles you just talked about, and are those electric vehicles, those garbage trucks you're talking
So no, the garbage trucks, and that's what I was going to ask Matt, because when he had briefed me, we didn't talk about the exception if there's nothing to replace your vehicle. But they do have an electric version of a dump truck that they're testing in Los Angeles, but it's only like a 10-yard capacity. We run like 36 to 39-yard dumps on our diesels and our internal combustion engines. So you'd have to buy 3 or 4 electric to replace 1 diesel. So unless that's an exception we can use, but hopefully it is, but that's new information.
That would fall under the daily usage exemption. We would have to do some paperwork on our side, which would just be logging how much and how far our current ICE engine travels and the work it does, how long it works, and submit that to the Air Resources Board, and they would review it and either approve or deny the exemption.
Well, I guess where I'm going is we need to, if we're going to have to move in this direction or be ordered to move in this direction, we need to think about the infrastructure to charge these vehicles.
Yes.
And the cost of that. And I guess the other thing is, what does that say about the solar panels we have in front of the office right now? Is that a power purchase agreement, or is that
Yeah, we're getting credits from that back. We received tax incentives and that offsets the bill for all the different city buildings and well sites throughout the city. So we're saving on electricity by having, we have a 3 megawatt system throughout the city of Lemoore combined. That was a $12 million project done, I want to say back in 2011 or 2012.
Yeah. So how long does that last?
I want to say it was a third 25-year agreement. I have to go back and look. It was the old Chevron agreement, and they've changed hands a few times since then. But I think it's
Right.
I think it's a 25-year agreement
There's no opportunity for us to capture that in the battery or anything like that.
to charge vehicles. I'm sure we could adapt. Yes, I mean I'm not 100% sure how that works because right now there's only one fast charger in the city of Lemoore, and then there's
Where's that at?
in our parking lot at the 7-Eleven. There's one fast charge there.
At the 7-Eleven?
7-Eleven West Cinnamon. Sorry.
Oh.
At the corporate offices. Yeah, we have one fast charge there, and we're the next one closest is Fresno and Visalia. So
Harris Ranch would be closer. Well, that's all I was just thinking about in terms of if we have to move that way.
Within the regulation, there are infrastructure exemptions, but they are very wordy.
Oh,
and
sure, yeah.
I don't do much with infrastructure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council?
I just wanted to mention, like, there's grants out there that probably we should be looking at also to put that infrastructure in.
yeah, there are grants for like portable chargers, things of that nature that we go after and look at. Typically want to be on certain routes. That's how we put the ones we have in now. On a scale like this, I don't know what these chargers are going to look like for a big industrial motor like this. I doubt it'll be the same chargers you're using on your car. I could be wrong, but I don't know yet.
We saw pictures of the ones that cart have to use that we had to buy. They're huge. They look like darn near the size of those solar batteries. They're pretty big, and they take. We actually the cart, our transit center, they have a whole bank of them, and that's independent of the rest of the building. It's a big deal. It was a lot. It was a couple $1 million just for the charging facility. So, I mean,
I think the battery storage option might be,
something to look at.
I don't know if we can work it into the agreement, but yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully a lot of our equipment falls under the exemption that they don't make.
Yeah, within the regulation, if we stick with just the local city or the local government regulation of the 50% purchases and the 100%, we're not mandated to remove any equipment. So we can keep our old equipment as long as it still complies with its smoke check and annual inspections. If we do switch to the ZEV milestones option, we have to abide by the useful life, which we would have to get rid of about 4 or 5 vehicles by 2027. We'd have to stop operation.
I would just advise with all the new, things coming up, keep your eyes open for grants also.
CARB on their website has a portal to some grant options for purchasing and infrastructure. They name PG&E and some other electric companies that are offering grants.
Is there any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
We'll move on to public comment. Public comment will be in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the city council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be provided to the city clerk for distribution to the council and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the mayor opens the item to the public. Is there any public comment?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I did receive one public comment via email. and it reads, "My name is Dr. Lawrence Williamson. I am a physician and resident of Lemoore. I have had the unique opportunity to volunteer my time and observe firsthand several Tuesday evening training sessions of our fire department as an invited guest of the fire inspector from October 2023 through January 2024. Sadly, I was able to reach the conclusion that our century-old department has both a racist and misogynistic culture. Furthermore, I have come to know that as a resident, my funds in our city is funding a public safety entity that is not as forward-thinking as perhaps they should be. For example, the National Fire Protection Association Standard 1901 states in part that all firefighters must be seated and belted when a truck is in motion, was routinely breached. I am interested in the safety and well-being of our young men and women of our fire department. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Our fire department does not have female firefighters and only has an underrepresentation of firefighters of color, as there does not appear to be any African Americans nor Asians on the roster. Lastly, I would hope that in the near future, the department can have a modernized and forward-thinking mentality with respect to the personal firefighter wellness and actively prohibiting the open utilization of tobacco products at the firehouse and during training exercises. Thank you for your attention. Partnered for our mutual safety, Lawrence J. Williamson, MD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Anybody online, Marissa?
Using for own children and for her emotional apology for children.
You can go ahead and say your comment.
In a YouTube clip today, a moment of reckoning for a mom who once gave fearing to millions online.
Is it for Mona Mayfield?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I play bunco and we go to different homes in Lemoore. And on my way to a bunco game using my GPS to find the street and address I was going to, I was unable to see the street signs in the College Park area without taking a flashlight out and looking at the signs. So I was wondering if there's any new street signs that are going to be placed anytime soon, because they are unreadable. I was looking for the street named Tulip at night. And all the streets in that College Park area, the street signs are unreadable at night. So my comment would be, is there a way to get new street signs put up?
Yeah, we can look into that. There is a standard reflectivity study that you can go about, so we can focus our attention on that area to see if we're meeting the minimum looms or not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on. No ceremonial presentations. Department and city manager reports, Mr. Olson.
So good evening again. The first one up is Mr. Frank Rivera.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Just a couple updates. This Sunday, West Hills had their power energized to their subdivision. They started about 8 o'clock and they were probably done by 1. So we had 2 water wells that were without power in the sewer lift station. So we brought on a backup generator in case the work lasted longer, but it all went well. So Lemoore is also working hard to get their entrances completed so they can open up or request final occupancy. So they're having a tough time because of weather. The road, the base rock is saturated, so some areas can't get paved. So we're going to work with Lennar
to try to accommodate them with their offsite improvements to make it safe enough for the residents to start to occupy the subdivision. So we'll have the discussion further on how we can help them out with that. The other thing, the past storm, it seemed like we fared that fairly well. I don't know of any major problems that we have with the storm, so we can continue to be ready at hand. So we're ready for whatever comes next, the best we can. Yes, sir.
Frank, on the base out at Lemoore, the road base out at Lemoore, the Lemoore project.
Yes.
It looks like it's just 2 inches up there. Is that our normal?
The new pavement?
Yeah.
So yeah, because of weather, they were going to try to get both lifts, but they wanted to get at least one just to protect the base rock for now.
Okay.
But yeah, depending on whether you're on bush or whether you're interior, it's either 4 inches or it could be 6 inches. But there's some areas that could be one layer for now, or one lift.
Well, I guess my concern is that we don't allow it to become permanent.
No. Yes, it's so in those cases, if you do have a lift, if you only have, let's say, one lift, you're going to notice that the lip of gutter is higher than the street. So we take notes, there's reminders to ensure that we're going to get the full depth of
all along and what do we in that development agreement, what do we have for them with respect to curb and gutter? Do they go all the way up to the stop sign?
No, that's part of another phase. So what you're seeing now, they're basically going to have an opening at Seamus and Bush. So you probably have like a radius, like a full radius return on the east side, and around the west side, on the east side, may just be a 3/4 width road with a shoulder until phase number 2 or 3 is built. And
that's pretty much standard the way we operate with this, because I mean, it doesn't help them out really in terms of the look of it, and it doesn't help us out either in terms of.
Yeah, typically anything beyond the roadways, the curb gutter gets done as the phases develop. Maybe I recommend that we bring back the map of the area and what's going to be curb gutter and what's not, is just a reminder, a study session on that.
Yeah, because it's all curb gutter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can do that. Any more questions?
One quick question. Panda, did they get energized?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not sure if there's a new date. Right?
Ray's going to update you on that one.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
Then one more thing.
Yeah.
And maybe you know this, the striping project, I know that was on hold from the
So we have
project.
Until the crack fill punch list is done, we won't have them come and stripe. So they're just waiting for it to dry out so they can complete the crack fill, and then they'll come and do the striping.
Okay. As you can imagine with the rain, I've gotten a lot of complaints about being able to see where the lane is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You're able to fill a hole for about a week, and then the rain comes and it's gone again.
Yeah. No,
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Ray?
You can start with Panda if you like.
Good evening, Mrs. Mayor and Council. Yeah, Frank stole my thunder. Thank you, Frank. So Panda was pushed up because of the weather, and now they're back on schedule for Friday, March 1st.
Don't even give us the date at this point.
Yes.
Like,
So,
it's very disappointing.
I didn't say the year though. So anyway, so that's scheduled. Again, it's tentative depending on the weather. Lennar got their stuff, their transformers energized, but they still don't have power technically out there yet. The houses still lack meters, and then we have to do finals in those houses yet. So they're still working on their stuff. Just to answer your question, Doctor, as far as the streets and all that stuff, there are bonds in place. As being a developer, there's bonds in place that don't get released by the city until the city releases them. So there's money that sits there, and it costs the developer a lot of money. So until Public Works goes through and says, okay, you're good, their bonds are in place. So if something were to happen, we have a way to pull money to finish the project. So just to answer that.
Thank you.
Update on recreation. We had excuse me, we did our soccer tryouts on last Thursday, and currently we have 545 plus kids signed up for indoor soccer, which will be starting here March 4th. So we have a lot of need. So, but they're doing the best they can with a small staff over there. So it's good. And then we have Easter coming up. We're working on Easter right now. So we're going to start hitting the streets, asking businesses for donations. Currently on our website, we've been doing on Instagram, stuff like that. We've been asking for those things. So, okay. Any other questions? We're good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And last up, Chief Kendall.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I don't have a whole lot to put out tonight. I did want to give you a quick brief on the, let's say, numbers coming out of the police academy right now. This current academy class started February 5th. They started, I don't know what they kind of ended up with, or starting with. It was in the 40s. It was relatively low. But as of today, they had 38 cadets left. Of those 38 cadets, 24 have been hired by other agencies. That leaves the current recruiting pool at 14. That's difficult if you're trying to hire an officer. 14 unaffiliated cadets for really the Tri-County area, because Fresno, Tulare, and Kings all recruit out of the Hanford Academy. That's not good outlook. And it typically takes about 20 applicants to get 1 through 2 backgrounds. And that's kind of hit or miss if they're going to pass backgrounds or medical and psych and whatnot. Onto a more positive note, I would like to personally thank and recognize Sergeant John Henderson. He has been our detective sergeant for the last 4 years. During those 4 years, he's worked himself over 200 cases, 4 of which were homicides. On top of his detective duties, he oversees 3 school resource officers, 2 detectives, and 1 pop officer, not to mention that he's our canine sergeant as well as our range sergeant. His 4 years, though, are up in detectives, and he has been reassigned back to patrol beginning today. Detective Sergeant Moritz is now in that seat, and he's got some big shoes to fill, but I know he's capable. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to consent calendar. We have item 4-1, approval minutes, regular meeting, January 16th, 2024. 4-2, approval minutes, special meeting, February 2nd, 2024. 4-3, approval minutes, regular meeting, February 6th, 2024. 4-4, approval minutes, special meeting, February 9th, 2024. Is there anyone on council that would like to pull any of those items? Seeing none, is there anyone from the public that would like to pull any of the consent calendar items? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent calendar.
So move the consent calendar.
Second it.
I have a motion by Councilmember Gornick and a second by Councilmember Orth. Councilmember Gornick?
Aye.
Councilmember Orth?
Aye.
Councilmember Garza?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. That's four yeses. It passes. There's no public hearing. Moving on to new business. 6-1, report and recommendation, California and City Sustainability Coalition. That's me. If you could pull up that, just the city letter, the city's letter on there by chance. I hope you guys all got an opportunity to review the letters, or it's pretty short, so you can read it pretty quickly. It kind of goes along with what the gentleman from the Fleet Department was talking about with the next letter, I believe. Yes. with the mandates coming down from Sacramento on all of the EV vehicles and such, just kind of explaining some of the challenges for, there's 3 different entities that are sending letters to the governor. One is farmers and small businesses. The other is the cities, and then also the counties. So I'm bringing this to council to see if you guys have any interest in joining in these letters going to Sacramento.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess the other one, I didn't see housing on there, but
You didn't see what? I'm sorry.
it was on some of those logos, though I didn't see it. Are we addressing housing or are we just?
No, it's just
This
the
is
electric vehicles.
EVs.
Yeah, and EV
Stuff that they're
infrastructure.
trying to.
Okay.
One bite at a time.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I guess I'm looking for consensus.
Yes.
Yes.
2, 3 yes?
Yes.
4 yes. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Did you guys have any discussion on that? Okay, is there any public discussion on this item? See none? I'll go ahead and bring it back. I have 4 consensus, so I'll just need the resolution and the city logo from, if I can get that from you, Marissa, to send that along. Thank you. Moving on to item 6-2, report and recommendation, resolution 2024-01, authorizing the city manager to execute and record a substitution of trustee and full reconveyance of deed of trust and beneficiary demand letter to Stewart Title of California, Inc. Mr. Olson.
And real quick before this item, you're now sitting as the successor agency for this one item.
Okay, so back in August of 2005, the Lemoore Redevelopment Agency entered into a loan with the Lemoore Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $10,000. The terms of the loan are to be repaid within 12 months. It didn't happen. So the chamber owns some properties here on Bush Street, and fast forward now to 2024, they're trying to sell one of those properties, but there's a lien against it from the Lemoore Redevelopment Agency. I contacted the county oversight board and they said this could be handled at our level and being like this. So in talking with the attorneys for the chamber, what they'd like to do is just have us sign a full reconveyance of deed and trust. And when the property sale goes, 10,000 will be set aside. And once the transition is done, then the city or the redevelopment agency will receive the payment of 10,000 to satisfy that loan, and then we'll send it up to the county. So all we're looking for is if we can, if I can execute the full reconveyance of this property, so they can sell it, but there will be a holdback of the monies owed to the city that will come back to the redevelopment agency upon completion of the transaction.
I'm good with it.
Any discussion from council?
I think it's a good idea.
Any discussion from the public or questions? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring it back to council.
So you're looking for, So you're looking for a motion to approve the resolution as the successor agency.
Motion to approve resolution 2024-01.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Gornick and a second by Councilmember Orth. Councilmember Gornick.
Aye.
Councilmember Orth.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza, you're way over there.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. 4 yeses, it passes. 3-6, report and recommendation, councilmember liaison appointments to regional boards and commissions. Ms. Avalos.
So I did have a chat on the previous item, from Michael Conway, just wanting to thank council.
Okay.
He's the attorney working with the chamber.
All right, so due to Mr. Olson's resignation, there are going to be some vacancies on the boards and commissions that he serves. So there are going to be 3 vacancies. The first one is he sits as the alternate on the KCAO board, which is held third Wednesday of each month at 4:15 p.m. The second one is Kings County EDC, which is the last Monday of every month, where he sits as the primary. And then he also sits as the primary member on the Kings Mosquito Abatement, which is the third Wednesday of each month. So I just wanted to bring it to council to discuss filling those vacancies.
I know Frank is the alternate for King's EDC. Do you have an interest? You are. For King's EDC. Do you want to switch to the primary on that?
The next board meeting is Monday at 11:30. This Monday coming up.
Well, I don't mind doing it, but is it something we want the interim city manager to do?
Technically, it's a council member position, but
okay.
at the time when Nathan got put on there, there was not enough council members to go around.
Gotcha.
So he just stayed on there.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And there's one on Monday?
Yes.
At 11:30.
Yeah, I'll forward you the agenda and details.
Okay. Thank you.
So
then
did
that
we
would-
want to assign a secondary?
Yeah.
You want me to assign the secretary? I'll send Stuart to that. He's not here.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He came back.
I'll do the secondary for it. Whatever it is we're talking about.
King's
EDC.
EDC. It's on Mondays. The third Monday? Fourth
Last Monday of every month.
Last Monday,
What time?
11:30.
11:30.
Can you do it?
No.
No.
Okay, then don't say yes.
Oh, okay, then no.
Well, I guess that leaves me because you can't do it and you can't do it.
Yeah.
Let's hope Frank shows up.
Yeah,
Just kidding. So I'll be the alternate
Mondays. Okay, the last Monday of every month.
last Monday of every month. And what was
So
the
I know
other-
the KCAO board, that one's an appointed position, right? And we just
Yeah, so with KCAO, they have the one appointed position. They don't really have a backup. Like I'm listed as a backup, but the backup has no voting authority. You can go sit in as a member of the public. So we technically don't need to have a backup for that because we already have a primary. Because the backup is really they don't have that. It's pointless. Yeah.
You would just get whatever information they share.
Yeah, and you bring it back. So that one doesn't necessarily have to be appointed. Then the Kings Mosquito Abatement District, that I do not believe does not have to be an elected official. It can actually even be somebody on staff, or it can be somebody in the community that wants to volunteer and come give an update every now and again when there's something to put out. So just in case, but that one meets the
third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m.
third Thursday.
Yeah, that's me.
Thursday.
What's
That's
that?
the one I go to.
Huh?
Oh,
That's the one I
no,
go
you
to.
go to KCAO.
Okay, see, okay.
Hold on.
We moved on to the
Mosquito.
mosquito abatement.
We're doing
Have
mosquito.
third
I
Wednesday.
thought you were talking about.
I'm pretty sure it's the third.
I think Mr. Reed wants to do that.
Yeah, it's the third Thursday at 9 a.m.
I wouldn't mind nominating Tom Reed.
Yeah, I second that nomination.
It's actually a good group, Tom. I think you can enjoy it. Meetings usually less than an hour. Free coffee.
That was a
I'm
nice
sure
one.
they would accommodate you.
Yes,
Yes.
it's once a month.
Got him.
Is there any public comments on that, or anyone want to second Mr. Reed's appointment to that? We have a second by Ms. Benuelos. So Stuart, would you still be okay being the alternate for that one?
For mosquito?
For the mosquito? Yeah. Any public comment on any of these appointments? We finished them all,
Check
right?
online. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. None? Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve our select, Mr. Reed, you are okay with that, right? Okay. Entertain a motion to, what's the motion?
It could be to approve the appointments.
To approve the appointments, sorry.
6-3,
Yes, 6-3.
motion to accept all the appointments.
Second.
I have a, I am blanking right now. I have a motion by Councilmember Orth and a second by Councilmember Lyons. Councilmember Orth,
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick,
Yes.
and I vote yes. 5 yeses, that passes. Thank you, Mr. Reed and Mr. Gornick. And moving on to 6-4, report recommendation, interim city manager employment agreement, Ms. Lerner.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So before you tonight for consideration and approval is an interim city manager agreement with Mr. Kevin Northcraft. Per the government code, I need to point out the financial provisions of this agreement. So under the terms, the base salary for the interim city manager is $164,174.85 annually. And in addition, this agreement provides for the reimbursement of mileage at the current IRS rate. Currently, that rate is 65.5 cents per mile. Mr. Northcraft is a CalPERS retiree and so is not entitled to any other benefits under CalPERS rules. And so those are the financial provisions. I do know that Mr. Northcraft is here this evening if you have any questions for him. Otherwise, I'm open for questions as well.
Any questions from council? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and open it to the public. Is there any questions or comments from the public? Can you come to the?
He should come to the podium.
The podium.
Just a minor correction. The mileage rate now, effective January 1, is 67 cents.
Even better. So the way the contract reads is the current IRS rate. So it will be whatever it is annually. So thank you for that correction. I was looking it up and it said 65.5, but 2 cents more is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Okay, I'll bring it back to council for a motion to approve the employment agreement.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember Orth.
Second.
A second by Councilmember Gornick. Councilmember Orth.
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. 5 yeses, 5 yeses, 6-4 passes. Would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Northcraft?
Thank you for that approval. I'm certainly excited about starting. I think we've got a meeting at 7:30 tomorrow morning, and I'll be here ready to learn as much as I can from Nathan. And as I talked to you in the interview, I want to be a proactive interim city manager. I want to do some productive things, work well with you and the staff to hopefully prepare the organization for an outstanding new permanent city manager that we'll be recruiting for. So excited to work with all of you and looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to city council reports and requests. Councilmember Garza.
Okay, so I just wanted to welcome the new city manager. We look forward to working with you. And I want to say thank you to Nathan. Nathan, I had a good time getting to know you, and you'll be missed, sir. And also for Detective Henderson, I want to say congratulations to him also. He was my neighbor before, so I know him very well. So congratulations. Thank you.
Councilmember Lyons.
Mr. Northcraft, thank you for showing up and helping the city out. I really appreciate it. Nathan, it's been fun working with you. It's been interesting. That's about where we're going to leave that. And yeah, I'd like to thank the PD and the fire department for all that they do. And no, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Worth.
I too would like to thank Mr. Northcraft for putting his hat in the ring, and it was a interesting event doing this. I've never had the pleasure of doing it we came together and we agreed on something good. So moving forward is good. Thank you very much for coming and helping us. Nathan, it's like Stuart said, there's been some fun times and some not so fun times, but at the end of the day, we all learn from our life and we move forward.
I didn't say that.
Well, you get some of it. So anyways, thanks everyone for all the hard work, Public Works for keeping us somewhat dry, and the police and the fire for everything they do. And we just need to move forward as a city and work together to come together and fix some of our problems as a team. That's it.
Councilmember Gornick.
Yeah, I too want to welcome Kevin Norcross to the city of Lemoore, and appreciate you willing to step up and help us out. Also look forward to you. We're fortunate to be able to get you to do a twofer, to kind of stand in and also help us out with selecting the new city manager. So I appreciate that. Nathan, it's been fun. I've only been on the council about 2.5 years, seems like a lifetime. But good luck to you in your new position up at Sanger.
Thank you.
I'm sure they'll enjoy you up there. And I look forward to continuing the reports on the computer every couple of months, in terms of the implementation of that. I think that'll help us out a lot in terms of getting a handle on where we're at. And appreciate the staff's work. That's got to be very frustrating for them as well as the customers. So appreciate that. And Frank, good job keeping us out of harm's way in terms of the water. And yeah, and Chief, appreciate your work and great job with the events for the youth. That was really impressive number you have for soccer this time. That's good. That's it.
I'd like to echo my council members for the sake of time. Also just to report out from KWRA, Kings Waste and Recycling Authority, we did select new directors, which I will continue to stay on as the chair, and Corcoran's City Council member Robertson will be the co-chair for that one. I also attended Chief Ochoa's, it's a weird saying now, Chief Ochoa's swearing in, and Corcoran, Lemoore showed up big time to support her there. So that was really great to see as well. Just want to put a little shout out. Little League is doing a cleanup this weekend on their facilities starting at 9 a.m. So if anybody wants to go and get their hands dirty, I'm sure they could use all the help they can get. So I just wanted to put that out there. And with that, we will go ahead and move on to closed session, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, City Manager.